So I think there are two separate questions, what Marcus asked and what AP asked. So I'm going to try to answer both.
Okay.
Starting with AP, like, I think you could do both. And I think you could do it in a way that's not criticizing and still make it fun and flirty and have the person open to engaging again, right? Hey, again, that was a really great time. This was my favorite part. This one, it was great, but maybe, would you be open to trying this instead? Right? Or what did you think of it? How did it go for you? And engaging in the same conversation, right? Like there's a way of like turning that feedback into dirty conversation that just like primes you for the next time. You could do it during or after. But
Mm-hmm.
to what Marcus was saying, like, I think it's about getting to the root of like the insecurity itself and understanding like where the gaps of knowledge are. Because as much as like size does matter to some women, it doesn't to most, right? That like size does not determine climaxing for the most part within reason, right? We're not talking about any sort of extremes. But if like it might just be a knowledge gap where some men don't understand that. And so maybe the reassurance comes from the fact of like, hey, that's not really where I get my pleasure from. These are the things that I really enjoy engaging in the bedroom with you. These are the things that make me feel really good. You do this thing that like I've never experienced before and it really like, either gets me warmed up or gets me off, right? So it's about reassuring to the things that your partner is capable of and a little bit of like filling in the knowledge gaps of why they may feel that and how it may not be what's actually going on.
I got a
Yeah, I
question,
think if
Marcus.
it's performance anxiety, I think that's totally different too. And that, you know what I'm saying, deserves a different approach as well. I think for me, that's where the conversation after the fact would happen. But in the from I don't know, I can only speak from my experience um that in the moment direction is fun. So
Marcus,
it doesn't necessarily feel like it's a you're not doing it right kind of, conversation.
Marcus, I do have a question for you though. Before you, I'm not saying you. I'm speaking generally, and I'm saying any man because I couldn't picture me ever in any phase of my life, all the way to now, talking about my size, having a conversation, or feeling inadequate about my size prior to the actual event occurring. Like I'm I'm not gonna I'm not going to show, let's say, that insecurity leading up to when it looks like I'm already about to get the box. I'm not going to talk myself out of the box because that's essentially like that insecurity could could prevent her from even saying, "Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do it." Like, do you know any guys or how that would even come up
So you're
prior?
saying you wouldn't share before you even have sex. You're gonna wait till
No,
afterwards and then have ask for feedback from her after the fact.
right? I
Gotcha.
just don't understand how that would. And you ladies might actually even have more insight into this. A guy would express that prior to actually having sex. This is why I think that the body count conversation argument is complete bullshit because what man actually really talks about that before they get the before they get the box? That's crazy.
So I don't think that that's a conversation that people have in real life. I think something more realistic that happens is that they may know the person or they may have come across pictures while snooping in devices that they should not have been. I think that's typically how people find out. Or we're seeing growing popularity of that one platform where women are engaging in this behavior, right? So If she's an OF girl, maybe he's seen videos. So like there are ways to know without having the conversation of what size were the guys you were with before. You know what I mean? Like I don't think anybody's actually having that conversation. I think it's just coming up in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I still, even if let's say I stumbled upon pictures because I went through your phone and I'm seeing there's a 17 and a 12 and a 19, and I'm like, God damn, I can't fuck with any of these dudes. But I still want to smash. Why would I even bring it up? Like that's
19 is
crazy.
wild.
I'm just, I'm
Yeah. I know.
but why would I even bring it up? If I still want it, if I still, after seeing all of that, and I still want to smash, why would I even bring up the fact that shit, this dude, the dude picture I saw got probably about 4-5 inches on me? Why would I bring that up? I don't give a fuck.
I mean, so it could be an insecurity within a relationship where you feel as though because the previous person was 19 that now you inadequate, and that could affect y'all sex life. And the weird thing, I don't know about everybody, but the weird thing about I think I can only speak for myself. My confidence will be directly attached to my ability to go with my move. You know what I'm saying? So if you feel unconfident or inconsistent, I can see that having an effect on the performance. So if
Yeah, that's why I
that was the
said the
thing,
idea about performance anxiety. Like I
yeah.
think
I mean, I
that
guess if she just laying there and she make you look like you're not doing nothing, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
woo.
but at that point though, you're already doing it. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I can't see any scenario where we're gonna have a conversation about size adequacy prior to the event occurring. Like I can't see. Hey, yeah, baby, shit. I'm rocking with 8. You know what I'm saying? What you used to? Yeah. Oh, for real. Oh, damn. You had that. You think I'm gonna be? You think I'm gonna be good? You think I'm gonna be straight?
If
Like
you
I
think
can't see
you got
that.
the relationship is over.
I agree with
Don't want no
AP.
eight.
I think it would be in a guy's best interest to not share that beforehand and maybe ask for direction during or after, because the beforehand is automatically going to put the woman in a mindset of judging his performance. Like if a dude had came to me, let's say like my husband came ahead of time, was just like, well, I'm not really sure if I'm good at this, you know what I'm saying? Like, is automatically going to put me in a judgmental mind frame, as opposed to him, because now I'm gonna be looking, instead of like, because he put it in my mind, I'm going to be kind of like looking to see if his performance is good, as opposed to just going with the flow in the moment of it and then asking him to make adjustments, like a little to the left, like, yeah, right there, something like that in the middle of it, as opposed to him doing that beforehand.
Right? And I know that was a hypothetical. I just had to think through it. I was like, how the hell does that come up before? I don't care. I don't care what you've been through yet. Shit, I'm gonna wrap this thing up and we're gonna go, and then we can have a conversation.
Yeah.
I've seen plenty of videos where the men talk about the women having sex previous to them created a scenario where she's gonna constantly be comparing them. And if they're making videos about it, this is something that men are thinking about. And with that in mind, how does that kind of like, so because there's like, so it would come up where if you had that thought process, you would be trying to manage the expectation. Because if you think that she's been dealing with men that are well endowed and you might not be well endowed, then you can have a conversation with her prior to that. So, because if you're not well endowed, then just showing what you got might become an issue for you.
Well,
You know what
no,
I'm saying?
but
But
in
if she knew
conversation, I
beforehand and you
found that
move forward with it,
if he broaches the conversation wouldn't or shouldn't be about him being well endowed or not. even if he's feeling like that, I think the conversation would be more around what does she like during sex? Like what things does she prefer during sex, as opposed to saying, making the conversation around what his size is. Because if, as a dude, if I know what you like, if we're having a conversation and I'm talking about what your likes and dislikes are during sex, then I'm gonna make sure once we get to that point and we actually, you know, become physical, I'm gonna make sure that I'm going to be doing all of those things that you said that you like. So therefore, my size won't necessarily even become an issue.
So
I think that's a mature approach, but let me just say, I think that's a mature approach, but most people view sex as such a taboo subject. They don't have the bandwidth to engage in that conversation pre-sexual experience, or even like it requires a certain amount of confidence to even during sex to have conversation, right? So some people may be like insecure or not feel comfortable to even discuss any of that while having sex. It's kind of like we run the gambit on the emotional spectrum of how people approach sex. It's people who are extremely open, extremely free, down to do anything. Then there are people who they won't even let you have oral sex because they feel like that's an abomination. And all of the people in between exist. And within relationships, sex being a key component, I think they would like a go-to would kind of be like a go-to instruction manual as far as how the conversation can be had, would not be hurtful.
So I just want to give some advice to the men out there real quick. Look, if you don't want to have to deal with sticking your manhood in the Sahara Desert, because you're gonna dry her up bringing this shit up. If you already know what her history or her past is, here's what you do. Don't bring that up in a conversation. Bring every toy that you can possibly get your hands on and throw that shit down on the bed when it's time. She gonna think you a freak. Go all out. Let her know how freaky you are, because apparently you already feel inadequate.
Some women are.
So you have to do something. You have to, as a man, you have to do something to stand out. Otherwise, your insecurity is going to show up during the activity. Or if you mentioned it before, you might as well walk across the Mojave dragging your peppy. I just want to say, take the toys with you.
She might not be into toys, though.
She's
so
not into toys, men, and you feel inadequate, go ahead and leave her alone. You in trouble.